Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm here for Mercy Tiara Kits and I'm going to be creating a super easy double page layout featuring the January 2025 release called Winter Glow. This month's release is full of wintry goodness with products from Echo Park Paper, Carta Bella, Simple Stories, Mercy Tiara Kit exclusives, and more. So here's my narrowed down selection. I'm going to be using the main kit, pattern paper, and cardstock add-ons, and the embellishment add-on. And the pattern paper I selected from the main kit is all from Echo Park Paper's Snowed In collection. Below you will find a bunch of links, including to the Mercy Tiara Kit shop, Instagram, and Facebook group. So let's get started. Here's what's on my desk. I have 7 photos. These are photos of Quebec in the spring of 2024. I love documenting spring in Quebec because it always looks like winter. These are all 3x4 and the mats measure 1/4 inch larger. So for my foundation page, I have 2 pieces of Basil smooth white cardstock. They were both in the cardstock add-on. You can see I have 2 8-inch blocks of paper. That is for my foundation page. I've already trimmed those down. I have some other papers as well. You can see that I have 2 of each paper. That's very handy when creating double page layouts, and that's because I have the pattern paper add-on. I also have some acetate film strips from 49 in Market, some alphas from Thickers, that 12x12 sticker sheet from Simple Stories, and these tiered trays have a bunch of other embellishments, and I'm going to talk all about those later on when I embellish my page. What I want to do right now is start cutting up some paper. So what I'm going to be creating is a border that's going to span across the 2 pages. I already showed you 2 8-inch blocks. That's going to be a mat that spans across the 2 pages. That's where I'm going to be putting my photos. And this is going to be a grid style layout. So it's kind of like all of my favorite things, which is why it's going to be super, super easy. Well, I should say it's easy for me because it is in my comfort zone, and it's always easy to work in your comfort zone. As you can see, I've been inking up my pattern papers. The ink I was using was Morning Mist by VersaFine Claire, and now what you see me doing is punching out 2 scalloped borders. I am using the Creative Memories Border Maker system with a scalloped border cartridge. It's one I use all the time. It's the one I got with this system probably like 15 years ago. So I do this ×2. So basically everything I'm doing is kind of ×2 because what I'm doing on the left page, I am doing on the right page. And in a moment, you're going to see how all of this looks. So you can see I've cut up all of my pieces and I will put measurements on the screen for everything I'm doing here. And now what I'm going to show you is how they are going to look on the page. So basically that floral band is going to go across the 2 pages at the top. Then what I'm doing is bumping up that scalloped piece. Everything is being bumped up at the top of the page, and on top of that scalloped piece is that narrow green strip. That actually gets changed up a little bit later in the process, but for the time being, that's how it's going to look. My photos will be adhered on top of those 2 blue blocks in the middle of the page. So what I'm going to do right now is start adhering these page parts to my foundation page. I start by doing it on one side. I am doing it on the left. And the only important thing here is that all of my pieces are bumped up to the very top of that white cardstock. Now I'm adhering that large block beneath that. And what I will do is just kind of tape these 2 pages together using the left page as a guide to place the pieces on the right page. So I continued doing that off camera. I also adhered my photos, and now what I want to do is show you all of my embellishing. So off camera, I created myself a little title block there with 2 blocks, a little bit smaller than the photo blocks, and that's going to be where my title goes. I'm showing you an acrylic piece. It says "It's Cold Outside." That is a Mercy Tiara Kit exclusive. That's going to be my title. I also have Spring 2024 and those silver alphas from Pebbles. Those were in the embellishment add-on. The other alphas that were in the main kit, I don't end up using them, so I toss them to the side. And now I'm showing you the other embellishments. So in one of these little bins, I have a bunch of chipboard, and it comes from basically two chipboard collections that were in the embellishment add-on. One of them from Chipboard Accents from Echo Park Paper's Snowed In collection. The other one is frames, and I think it's from Welcome Winter, something like that. In the other bin, I have some ephemera pieces. Those are all from Echo Park Paper's Snowed In collection. I tried to narrow these down, but it's kind of tough because it's my first time digging into this collection and absolutely everything matches. So it's like everything could go. In this other tier, I have the exclusive sequin mix for Mercy Tiara Kits, and I also have exclusive snowflakes. Some of them are felt and some of them are acrylic. Also, I have from Echo Park Papers, Chilling with My Snowmies, some adhesive brads and chipboard. And in this bottom tray, I have a bunch of fussy cut flowers and some die cut leaves and snowflakes. I showed you that floral paper there. It's the same floral paper that's in the border at the top of the page. For one of my two papers, because I had the pattern paper add-on, I completely cut out all of the flowers. I didn't bother cutting out the snowflakes or the leaves because I don't really like fussy cutting. So instead, I dug into my scraps and I found myself some dies and a punch. And what I did was I die cut and punched some leaves and some snowflakes. I'm just showing you the dies I used. That one for the leaf is from Tim Holtz. That's a holly punch from Stampin' Up. I punched out some leaves, but I don't end up using them. And I also had some snowflake dies as well in my stash, so I punched out some snowflakes with some white cardstock. Also, I'm going to show you, I die cut some tags as well. So in my ephemera, there's a bunch of tags and frames, but I wanted a few bigger tags. So basically what I did was I used the flip side of some of those papers that I already cut into. I took a tag die from my stash, which is from Tim Holtz, and I cut out myself a few tags. I have those acetate film strips there. I don't end up using those. That 12 by 12 sticker sheet was in the main kit. It's from Simple Stories from the Simple Vintage Fresh Snow collection. And yeah, so that's basically it here. So what I'm going to do is start building clusters, basically in the top left and bottom right. At the very end, I come in and add a visual triangle, but typically when I want to make a quick and easy double page spread, I will do my clusters in kitty corners and kind of worry about the visual triangle at the end. Sometimes I add one, sometimes I don't. So you can see I'm starting by adding tags to each one of those areas to use them as cluster bases. I often do that. I like to do it with something big. Now what I'm noticing is my acrylic piece, which is exclusive from the Mercy Tiara Kits. The word outside at the bottom didn't show up because it was on top of either pattern paper or dark paper. So what I'm showing you, what I did was off camera, I basically cut myself with scissors a piece of white cardstock, and with liquid adhesive, I glued it behind the acrylic piece. So now the open areas of the letters have white behind them. So even if I place that on top of dark cardstock or on top of something patterned, it will show up the word. So I'm happier with that. I'm also showing you that off camera, I had decided that I didn't like the green at top. I don't know why, because I'm looking at it on the screen right now and it looks perfectly fine to me. Anyway, I ended up cutting myself out 2 scallop borders in the green and 2 narrow strips in the blue, and I decided to switch up those borders at the top of the page. I'm also showing you that off camera I did my journaling and I printed it up so that it would fit on one of those tags. So off camera I adhered that border over on the right, or I should say I switched that border over on the right, and now what I'm going to do is start building my clusters in the top left and in the bottom right. So now I can have that acrylic piece kind of overlap because it's too big for that block that I made at the bottom, but it can overlap the pattern paper and I can still see the word outside because of that white cardstock that's underneath. So right now I have two tags in the bottom right. One of them is one of the tags that I made. One of them is from the ephemera pack. I've got two in the top left. Then I came in with three blue flowers, three fussy cut blue flowers. Even though I'm doing it only in two clusters, I'm kind of building visual triangles at the same time. I put those blue flowers in a triangle, two at the bottom, one at the top left. Did the same thing with the white flowers, and now I'm doing the same thing with snowflakes. So I've got kind of two areas of snowflakes in the bottom right above that title block and below, and then another area of snowflakes up in the top left. I'm happy with all of this. I know I'm going to want to come in with some leaves, but I have too many loose pieces right now. So I'm starting to adhere, and I've sped this up quite a bit because it's exactly where I had placed them. I started with the tags, the bigger pieces, then I came in with the flowers there and the snowflakes. When I'm adhering these snowflakes, I am using an adhesive called Sticky Specs. You're going to see me come in with it again. Basically, it looks like wax paper that I lift. I place the detailed die cut on top of that yellow paper, which has like an adhesive on it, and it picks up on the detailed piece. So I'm doing that for the snowflakes. And when I adhered the flowers, the blue ones are all popped up on foam adhesive. Now you can see I'm coming in and I'm tucking in some of those leaves. That really finishes off the clusters, but I wasn't able to play with them before simply because I had too many moving parts. But I do know through experience that when I'm building clusters with leaves, I always tuck in the leaves at the very end. Now I am going to go back to that cluster in the bottom right and add some finishing touches, but what I'm going to do is adhere the big pieces over on the top left. Once again, I started with one tag, then I adhered my journaling on top of the other tag and it kind of overlapped the other one. I'm coming in with those snowflakes using that very same adhesive, Sticky Specs by Ecstasy Crafts, and now I'm coming in with the flowers. Same thing, I popped up the blue one with some foam adhesive, and now I'm just coming in and tucking in some of those green leaves. Now I want to add some finishing touches. First of all, I want to add something to that area in the top right. I find myself a wordy bit that says freezing season, and even though it is March, spring in Quebec, it's still freezing here. At first I tucked it underneath one of the borders, but I decided I wanted it to just bump up at the top. I'm actually kind of thinking of it now, but later on I come in and trim that down. Now I want to add something to the tag. So I have the self-adhesive brads and chipboard, and I end up only putting one brad over by the journaling. The other tags, I think I'm going to add some twine to them a bit later on. Now I'm coming in with a chipboard piece. There was a cute little penguin there on that same self-adhesive brad embellishment pack. So I tuck him in the bottom right, super, super cute. And now I want to come in with the small bits and pieces. So I have these exclusive small little snowflakes for Mercy Tiara Kits. Some of them are felt, some of them are acrylic. I end up putting two of the acrylic ones in that cluster in the bottom right. Once again, kind of forming a visual triangle around the page because the third one ends up in the top left corner. Now I do have some sequins. This is the exclusive confetti mix that goes with this winter glow collection. So I end up putting some of them in the middle of the snowflakes and in the middle of the flowers. Finally, I'm coming in with this sticker sheet. There is so much stuff in this winter glow collection. So all I end up pulling off from this sticker sheet are some wordy bits. So they're little words, and I put two of them and a heart on the photo in the top left, and I add three of the wordy bits on top of the photo in the bottom right. And by doing so, it's almost like I'm selecting those two photos, which are two photos of me, almost like turning those photos into focal points by embellishing them a little bit more because all of the photos are identical in size. So basically that's it. Here's my finished layout. Off camera, I did add twine to the tags, and I added one more piece of chipboard to that journal area in the top left. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd greatly appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, Scrapbooking Quebec, I would be honored and thrilled if you did. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very, very much. Make sure you check out the Mercy Tiara Kits shop, Instagram, and Facebook page. Take care, and I will see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.